You know that feeling, right? Just this constant flood of information, data streams coming at you, and you're just trying to figure out what's really important, what actually gives you an edge. We all want to be informed fast. But what if you could go beyond just processing it? What if you could automate the insights, the actions, not just simple stuff, but like intelligent automation, the kind that can mimic human decisions, maybe even do better? So today, we're going to peel back the layers on something pretty interesting, described as an auto clicker on steroids. It's called Nightshark. Now, it's specifically built for the super fast world of algorithmic trading, but the ideas here, they go way beyond just mindless clicking. Our mission for this deep dive to really unpack what Nightshark is, how it works, the nitty-gritty, what makes it so much more powerful than your basic auto clicker, and why it's such a, well, fascinating example of intelligent automation. We're going to show you how complex tasks, really nuanced stuff, can actually be automated using smart, data-driven decisions. Okay, let's dive right in then, the core difference. When most people hear auto clicker, they probably think, a program just clicking the same spot over and over. So what's the big leap Nightshark makes? What does purpose-built for algorithmic trading actually mean for someone who wants that strategic edge?
Yeah, that's exactly the right place to start. Because a regular auto clicker, you're right, it's mostly about those mindless clicks. Fixed spots, same action, repeat. Nightshark, though, it brings intelligence into the mix.
Hmm.
The key is how it does it. Real-time screen reading, smart decision-making, and condition-based execution. That's how the developers put it.
Screen read. Okay, so it's actually looking at the screen.
Precisely. It's not just clicking blind.
Yeah.
It's actively understanding what's live on your screen right now and reacting to that dynamic data. Then it executes actions, but only based on sophisticated conditions that you set up.
Hmm.
What's really fascinating here is how that shifts automation. It stops being just a convenience like, oh, clicks for me.
Hmm.
It becomes a real strategic advantage. Think about trading super fast-paced,
Yeah,
right?
milliseconds count.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this move from simple repetition to an adaptive, responsive strategy, that's a game changer. You're not just automating a click anymore. You're automating a decision made at machine speed, super precise, based on what the system actually sees on your trading platform.
Okay, so it's not just clicking, it's seeing, reacting dynamically. But how? How does Nightshark actually do that? What are the building blocks, the tools in its toolbox that let it mimic watching the screen and making those fast decisions?
Great question. It really boils down to a few core capabilities working together. First off, how it gets the info. That's screen reading. There's a function called read areas. And this isn't just like taking a screenshot. It's actively pulling live metrics from pretty much any application on your screen in real time.
Live metrics, like a stock price or an indicator value.
Exactly. But for that to work, you have to tell Nightshark where to look on the screen. And that's where this fundamental element comes in, called an area. Think of it like area 1. It's how you define those specific spots. Maybe it's a price display, maybe an indicator value, maybe even text on a button. That's what Nightshark monitors.
Okay, that makes sense. So area defines the eyes where it's looking.
Got it.
Once it reads that data, maybe it sees a number or some text, how does it make a decision based on that? How does it process it?
Right, because raw data isn't enough. This is where conditional logic and something called number conversion are crucial. Often the data it reads off the screen is just text, even if it looks like a number to us.
Oh, right. 20.50 is text, not a number the computer understands immediately.
Exactly. So there's a function to number AreaX. Its job is vital. Turn that screen text from the area into an actual numerical value. Once you have numbers, then you can do math. You can compare things.
Yeah.
Which is, the basis of most trading strategies.
Makes sense.
For the actual decision-making, it uses standard programming stuff.
Yeah.
If statements, loop structures, you could even create your own functions. This lets you build complex rules, like if the number in area 1 is greater than 20, then do this action. It's basically the brain interpreting what the eyes see.
So it sees with read areas, processes, and decides with if and to number, and then it needs to act, right? Click the button.
Precisely. That's the automated clicks part. It uses commands like click point.x, just like area tells it where to read. Another element called point.a or point.b tells it exactly where on the screen to click.
Okay, so point.a might be the buy button coordinates, point.b the sell button.
Exactly. Could be buy, sell, confirm an order, close a pop-up, whatever you need.
And what about tracking things? Like if a condition changes over time, does it just rely on the screen constantly?
Good point. For dynamic strategies, you often need to remember things. That's where variable storage and manipulation comes in. You use this operator, it's like an assignment. It lets your script store values and change them as it runs.
So you could like count how many times something happened or store a price level you're watching.
Yeah, exactly. Track a counter, store a key price, maybe set a flag, like market is trending. It gives the script memory, so it's not just reacting to the immediate screen view for everything.
Wow. Okay. That's a really powerful combination. Screen reading, logic, clicking, memory. It sounds like you could build some seriously complex strategies. What about keeping those scripts organized? And maybe more importantly, what about safety? If things are moving super fast, you need a kill switch, right?
Absolutely, on both counts. For managing complexity, Nightshark supports modular design. You can use function abstraction. This means you break your strategy down into smaller, reusable blocks of code functions. It's not just about tidy code. It makes strategies easier to build, test, and adapt. Much clearer.
Okay, so you can build libraries of conditions or actions.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Reusable components. And then, crucially, for safety, there's clean termination. There's a stop script function. You can trigger it instantly with a hotkey, like F2 is common.
Just hit F2 and it stops everything.
Instantly. It sounds simple, but in a high-stakes environment. Imagine a sudden market crash or some unexpected news hitting the wires.
Yeah.
Being able to slam the brakes on your automation immediately. That's absolutely vital for risk management. It gives you peace of mind.
We've laid out this really impressive toolkit for Nightshark: seeing, thinking, acting, remembering, stopping. Now, to make this really concrete, let's walk through an example how these pieces actually fit together in a real script. The sources gave us an example standard script. It starts with stop script for that instant F2 stop we just talked about. Then it defines two functions, BUI condition and sell condition. Why set them up as separate functions like that? And how important is that to number thing again, especially with Area 1?
Yeah, that structure, separating the conditions into their own functions, BUI condition and cell condition, it's all about that modularity and readability we mentioned. Instead of one giant, potentially confusing main block of code, you encapsulate the logic for buying or selling into neat little packages. Easier to understand, easier to tweak later. And inside those functions, that to number Area 1 is, well, it's absolutely critical. Like we said, the screen often gives you text. If you want to check if a value is, say, greater than 20 or less than negative 10, like in the example logic returned to number area 120, you have to convert that text from area 1 into a number first.
Otherwise, you're comparing 20 as text to the number 20, which doesn't work logically.
Exactly. It wouldn't make sense for trading rules. And area 1 itself, remember, that's just the specific spot on the screen Nightshark is reading that live number from.
Got it. So the functions define the rules using numbers from the screen. Then comes the main loop. It looks like first it calls read areas, then it runs this check if, BUI condition, if else, if cell condition, all else if cell condition. How does this loop, doing this over and over, actually create that dynamic decision-making you talked about?
This structure perfectly shows it in action. See, the read areas call at the very start of each loop cycle. That ensures Nightshark always has the absolute latest data from the screen, fresh info every time.
Okay, constantly updating its view.
Right. Then the if logic immediately evaluates your conditions, BUI condition or cell condition using that fresh data. If the buy condition is met right now, boom, click point.A. It clicks your predefined buy location. If not, it instantly checks the sell condition. If that's met, click point.B.
And if neither is met, it just loops back and reads the screen again.
Exactly. It keeps cycling, see the latest data, evaluate the rules, take action if required, repeat. This continuous loop lets the system mimic those human strategic choices. But, with machine speed, total precision, and zero emotion getting in the way, it's evaluating and responding instantly to what it sees.
That's powerful.
Oh, and just a quick side note here. We talked about a number for comparing numbers. What if the area you're reading just shows text, like a word? For that, there's a different comparison operator. You use that specifically for checking if the text in an area matches a specific string like BY or cell instead of comparing numerical values.
Ah, okay. So for text matching, standard math operators for numbers after to number. Gotcha. That really clarifies how Nightshark works internally. But, many traders, they're already using sophisticated charting platforms, right? Like TradingView or Thinkorswim. How does Nightshark play with those? Is it flexible enough to integrate, or do you have to kind of ditch your existing tools? Does it bridge the gap?
That's a super important question for anyone thinking about actually using this. And yeah, its adaptability is actually one of its big strengths. The sources give this great external signal example that tackles exactly this scenario. Imagine you're using, say, TradingView or TOS, really popular for their charting and analysis tools, right?
Definitely.
Okay, so you could actually set up those platforms to draw visual signals right onto your chart. Things like text labels. For instance, maybe you configure trading view so that when the RSI indicator goes above, say, 70, it draws the word sell on the chart.
Or BUY if it drops below 30, maybe.
Precisely. You set up your analysis tool to create these visual cues based on its own calculations.
Okay, interesting. So Nightshark isn't getting a data feed from TradingView. It's literally seeing the word buy Y or sell that TradingView drew on the screen. How does it interpret that using the tools we've been talking about?
Exactly right. It's interpreting the visual output. You'd then set up your Nightshark script, maybe your BY condition function.
Hmm.
And inside that function, you'd use that text comparison operator we just mentioned. It might look like return area 1
Well,
BY.
because it's looking for the actual text string BUY.
Perfect. So Nightshark isn't linked directly to trading use data. It's simply reading the screen, just like you would. It sees the BUY label appear in the area 1 you defined on your chart, and then it acts based on your script's logic, like clicking point.a.
Wow.
This example really highlights how adaptable Nightshark is. It essentially acts as this powerful visual bridge. It connects your favorite analytical tools, whatever they are, to your execution platform by translating those visual signals. Signals a normal auto-clicker would be totally blind to into automated actions. It reads what you see.
That's incredibly useful, bridging analysis and execution like that. So for people listening who are thinking, okay, this sounds pretty powerful, I want to try this out, how easy is it to get started? What's the accessibility like?
Yeah, good question. The developers seem to have made it quite accessible, actually. There are a few options. First off, there's a free tier. It gives you 1 hour of runtime per day. Costs nothing, $0.
1 hour a day? That sounds like a great way to just experiment, right? See if it works for you.
Absolutely. It's perfect for testing things out, getting a feel for how you'd build scripts, seeing if it fits your workflow, all without any financial commitment up front.
Okay, but what if you find that hour isn't enough? If you want to run it continuously?
Then there are paid options for unlimited runtime. There's a monthly license, which is $30 per month. Or if you know you're going to use it longer term, there's an annual license. That's $300 a year, so it works out a bit cheaper overall. Both give you unlimited use.
$30 a month for unlimited doesn't sound too bad if it's automating effectively.
Seems reasonable, yeah. And beyond just the software access, they also offer direct support. You can apparently book a one-on-one walkthrough session. There's a Calendly link, https://calendly.com, Nightshark walkthrough.
Oh, cool. So you can get personalized help setting it up.
Looks like it. Which could be really helpful, especially when you're just starting out with building these kinds of conditional scripts.
Definitely. So for you listening, that free tier really does seem like the obvious starting point, a no-risk way to dive in and experiment with this kind of advanced automation. All right, so as we wrap up this deep dive, it's really clear, isn't it? Nightshark is way more than just a simple clicker. It takes that basic idea and just injects a whole lot of intelligence. It's a sophisticated tool bringing condition-based execution, smart execution, to trading by actively reading and reacting to what's on the screen, making decisions based on live visuals.
Yeah, exactly. So what does this all mean for you, the listener?
I think it really highlights the sheer power you get when you combine that real-time screen reading with precise, logical decision-making. Nightshark offers this potential for speed and accuracy in executing rule-based actions that, frankly, humans just can't consistently match, especially under pressure.
Right, taking the emotion and hesitation out of it.
Precisely. It gives you a potential edge in dynamic markets by empowering your strategies with tireless, instant execution based on the conditions you define and what the system sees. And maybe here's a final thought, something provocative for you to chew on. How could this kind of tech, this intelligent screen reading automation, this auto clicker on steroids, be used beyond just algorithmic trading?
Interesting question.
Think about other fields. Anywhere there's complex visual information on a screen and rule-based actions need to follow, maybe intricate data entry tasks, quality control that relies on visual inspection through a screen, even potentially something like competitive gaming. Yeah, anywhere you need to observe, interpret visual data quickly, and react based on rules.
Exactly. Imagine mimicking that human observation and decision logic, but automating it. What new efficiencies, what new strategies could emerge from blending visual input with automated intelligence? Especially when it's not tied to a specific data feed, but could act like a digital pair of eyes and hands reading any screen. The potential for this kind of adaptive visual automation, it feels pretty immense, doesn't it? Lots to think about there.